It's time for the Empowering You Show. This is a lively television show that is a driving force to positive transformation in every viewer's life. Our goal is simple. It is to elevate our audience members with clear, practical, helpful advice and engaging activities. We're here dedicated to sparking a journey of self-growth and empowerment, making sure each episode is a step towards professional and personal achievement. That's how we empower you on the Empowering You Show. So get ready, it's time. It's once again time for the Empowering You Show. Thank you so much for being out there. I am your hostess with the mostest and so excited for our guest show today. Listen, no one does anything successful alone, and that includes me. So the person who helps me with everything related to the show, related to my business, is the incomparable, sassy, sexy, spicy Shawnee Smith.
Oh, you are just too kind. Hello, hello. I love that we're matching today. I love it. I'm loving this thing, right?
What is this? What is this glasses thing going on today? What's happening? What's
Glasses
happening?
and the red lips. Let's do it.
So happy to see you. What's going on in your camp? What's going on in your world? Is there exciting things going on with Can Do Spice?
Can Do Spice is doing its thing. I'm telling you, it is catching on like wildfire. Like people are really starting to take ownership of their lives, of their appetites. I'm loving it. Every time I get a convert to plant-based, I'm like, it's like another person in the family. So I'm loving it with that. I just can't believe it's January the 25th.
Hey, stop with the time. I can't do it.
I'm super duper excited though that there are still times in my life that I'm having trouble with communication, but you've taken care of that for me because there is an opportunity for us to speak up and be heard, to convey our message,
Yes.
to really be able to communicate. And I'm excited that that's coming up next month on the 8th.
Yes, February 8th, 6 p.m. Don't be late, EST. We got a power pack session for you to help you if you're feeling ignored in your business, if you're feeling devalued in your business, if you're feeling like you're not being heard in your business. This program is for you. February 8th, 7 p.m. Get in where you fit in because I'm only accepting 30 people. With that being said, so excited now. Let me introduce you to, I'm telling you, the next guest. We haven't had a guest for a minute, and our guest today is a phenomenal person. He has been in any number of industries, but before I give you all of the blah, 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 blah about him, I want him to come to the platform so we could talk to him about him. We're talking about Henri Ward.
Good morning, ladies.
Great rising, sir.
How are you?
We are great.
We're better now. We're better now.
Me too.
Super excited to have you on the show. I want the people out in all 200 countries to hear about you from you. You are a phenomenal person in your own right, but you've joined forces with another organization that we're going to talk more about. So, Henri, tell us about you.
Sure. Thanks so much, Barbara, and thank you, Shawnee. So I am the Chief Operating Officer for B-Direct, and B-Direct is the nation's first U.S.-based but African-centric corporate board preparedness and board search company. Prior to B-Direct, I spent time in corporate America for Fortune 500 companies. My last role was general manager of a $100 million tech portfolio with a company called Fiserv, and we did payment systems. Prior to that, I was head of global product management for Equifax's consumer business, and we were in 4 countries. So we were US, Canada, UK, well, 5 countries, US, Canada, UK, Australia, and New Zealand. And in that role, I actually had both technical product management and what we call P&L product management. So that responsibility for growing that portfolio, as well as creating the software behind that portfolio. So I've spent a great deal of time in both corporate America, spent the early part of my career at GE, at General Electric. And actually worked for 4 different GE businesses. The last role being a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt role for the GE Energy business.
Man, oh man, oh man. See, I couldn't have said it better than that. I couldn't.
So yeah, because we would have said like he was smart. In fact, he's like a genius. Okay.
I'm sure you would have done a fine job.
I want to tell you, this is such a delight and a pleasure to have you on the show. Someone with the credentials that you have, but you belong to a company that is going above and beyond. You said the first. They're the first. Let's look at the clip and see what they're the first at.
Thank you.
Now, Larry, I've known you for a while now. I know you're between Africa and the States quite a bit. Could you tell us what B-Direct is?
Well, I'm an Afripreneur. I like to say I have so many different things that I like to do and engage with Africans and African businesses all throughout the continent. But B-Direct is the first US-based company that's focused on board prep and identifying paid board opportunities for US Black executives and entrepreneurs. We were extremely intentional about building out a model that had a board prep program that took into consideration that success in the US didn't necessarily guarantee success on the continent of Africa. And we wanted to make sure that we helped our board candidates adapt their experiences they've had in the US to be able to be maximized in a positive way on the continent of Africa with engaging with African businesses on the continent.
Yeah, so that part, identifying paid board members. I don't know about you, but I like a little paper every now and then.
Absolutely.
What's the difference, right? What's the difference between non-for-profit board members and for-profit board members?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I applaud anyone who sits on a nonprofit board. I have done nonprofit board work myself. It's very good work. As most of us know, though, with nonprofit boards, usually they want you to bring a check.
Correct.
Okay. Along with your service, they want you to help bring a check. The difference with corporate boards is you are compensated for your work on corporate boards. That's in the United States and other places in the world as well. There's also a difference in terms of your legal responsibility. For nonprofit boards, even though you're sitting on the board, you're more in an advisory position. When you are a board director for a corporate board, you actually have what is called fiduciary responsibility, which means that you have a legal responsibility to work on behalf of the shareholders. And that legal responsibility comes with its own actions and reactions. So we want to make sure that more Black folks, in particular, Black executives and entrepreneurs, are getting the opportunity to sit on corporate boards, and specifically our focus is corporate boards on the African continent.
Wow. That's really good.
See,
Shawnee.
I would say that the average person has no idea that sitting on any board can be a paid situation in the first place, let alone like how you even get there.
Right.
You know, you might read certain people's bios and see that they serve on this board, this board, this board, this board, but because, at least in my opinion, I feel that most people think of boards as the nonprofit version of it, right? So you just think that this person is like super busy volunteering on all these different boards, having no idea that these are paid positions.
Yes. Corporate
that you
boards.
don't know about.
Absolutely. Corporate boards are definitely compensated. And the compensation is both in terms of cash and in terms of equity in the company.
And here's what I want to drive home. Yes, corporate boards may be a paid opportunity to have fiduciary responsibility, get paid, compensated in finances and or perks, but it's not easy to become a corporate board person. And why is that?
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up, Barbara. The reality is that it's all about your network. It really comes down to your network.
Slow your roll right there. That part right there. Let's hone in on the network part, right? Because had I not, I'm gonna give him another shout out, Dr. Kelly, had I not been a facilitator on the Black Business Expo, Black Business Olympics, I would not have networked with the people to the likes of Shawnee Smith, to the likes of Henri Ward, to the likes of Mark Lee. I would not have. So your network is truly your
net worth.
That's right.
Truly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you look at corporate boards in the United States, most of those corporate board directors do not look like you and I. They do not.
Wait, what?
I find that shocking.
I may be making moves, but you know, in all seriousness, people go to who they're comfortable with, right? And if my network primarily are people that are in my inner circle that primarily look like me, right? And by me, I mean someone who is not a person of color, then that means that the people that they will recommend for board work will not be people of color, just by the definition of who the pool of people that they're interacting with, right? So for us, we wanted to change that calculus. We wanted to change those dynamics. And the other thing is, you know, it's like when you're coming out of college and you're trying to get your first job, right? You can't get a job without having experience, and you can't get experience without having a job. Right. Usually the first question that you're asked in terms of corporate board work is, what previous boards have you sat on, right? So if you're never given the opportunity to sit on a corporate board, you never are able to answer that question in the affirmative. And quite frankly, that's where B-Direct comes in, because many of the Black executives and Black entrepreneurs that do sit on corporate boards here in the United States sit on multiple boards because people continue going back to the same well, right? Our kind of tagline is more tables, more seats, and what that and what that means is we aren't trying to create more slices of the same pie. We're trying to create more pies, right?
Wait. You rolled over that like that was not a thing. That was not a thing. Let me tell you one more time for us, Henri. I need you to say that like you said it, but a little slower. So so people in the back can hear it.
Okay. All right. We're not trying to create more slices of the same pie. we're trying to create more pies. More pies means more opportunities
That's what I'm talking about.
for particularly Black folks to sit on corporate boards.
And how does that work? So you're an executive in a company, or you're an entrepreneur, business owner, and you don't have board experience.
That's right.
But you come to B-Direct,
Right.
and walk us through how it works.
So we are specifically looking for Black executives in corporations at the vice president to C-suite level, across the different industries and across the different functional spectrums. We're also looking for Black entrepreneurs who happen to be highly successful in terms of their own right. They come to us. We have a 8-month program in which we take them through, and the 8-month program is in cohort fashion. So you meet as a cohort.
Mhm.
You meet once per month for 4 hours, usually over the weekend, for an 8-month period. And in that, we take you through a couple of things. One, we've partnered with some wonderful companies on the African continent. One that offers corporate governance training from an African perspective, because corporate governance on the African continent, while it's probably 75 to 80% the same as on the US, that 25 to 20% does make a difference. And so we've partnered with a company that provides corporate governance training from an African perspective. We've also partnered with another company that does executive coaching. This company happens to be run and owned by a Black female she's phenomenal, out of South Africa. So both companies are actually out of South Africa. She happens to be based out of Johannesburg. She has internationally certified executive coaches who, we were very fortunate and blessed, also have corporate board governance experience. And so that is a huge plus for us. And so while the third part of it is the cultural dexterity piece. So
That's the piece.
Right. I thought you would want to make sure I got that one.
And I'm interrupting you there for a purpose, but I'm going to let you go ahead, and then we will segue into why I want to know about that.
So the cultural diversity piece is, regardless of the amount of melanin in our skin, we are Western thinking and Western trained. If you were born in the United States, or if you have worked in the United States, you are Western thinking and Western trained. There is a difference between how one does business in the United States and in the West/Europe versus how one does business on the African continent. You cannot take a Western trained person, put them on a different continent in a different country without some type of cultural dexterity training and expect them to be successful, because they just will not. The fourth piece of our puzzle is our executive placement piece. So what differentiates us, and in addition to what differentiates us in terms of our marketplace from companies that do corporate board governance training here in the US, and there are many, and we support them all. What differentiates us from them is that not only is our primary market looking at the African continent, but we also serve as a traditional executive search firm as well. And so while the cohort is going through corporate governance training, is going through cultural dexterity training, is working with their executive coaches, we are working very strongly on their behalf to help place them on corporate boards on the African continent. So we're working with venture capitalists, with private equity firms, with public and private companies to actually help them make that transition from kind of just US citizen, corporate executive or entrepreneur to Black corporate board director on the African continent.
You said a whole bunch of mouthful of stuff right there.
A whole lot. I have so many questions. Like,
You
when,
go first, Patty.
my first one is like, when's the next cohort begin? Because I need to know more, and I know that.
So
Wow.
our next cohort actually starts this June.
Okay.
So our last cohort began in September of 2023. It will end in April of 2024, and then we begin cohort 2 in June.
Now, I know you said that you would like them to be executive level or C-suite.
Mhm.
Are there any instances where you would make any kind of exception for someone who, say, is an entrepreneur and just really doesn't have that title as far as experience goes, but maybe they're literally credible messenger type?
Sure. Well, we're definitely looking for entrepreneurs. We're looking for entrepreneurs who are the CEOs, COOs of their businesses, who can add immediate value. And that's the thing we want people to understand. We are, in essence, the training helps get you ready, but we are working as intermediaries for these African company CEOs and their board. And so we want to make sure that the people that we bring through the cohort can add immediate value to the corporation, because in essence, the end customer, if you will, is the African corporation. And so what you also have to think about is that the CEO of the African company is making a conscious decision not to bring on board an in-country person, right? They're making a conscious decision.
Wait, what?
Yeah. They're making a conscious decision to bring someone from outside of their country onto the board. And so in essence, when they're making that conscious decision, we have to be able to bring people to the table that are going to add immediate value.
Immediate value.
Immediate value to that board, whether that immediate value means from an industry perspective, whether it means from a functional perspective, engineering, sales, marketing, product,
accounting, media, things like that,
legal, all of those things.
Oh, wow.
Also, these folks who we are introducing to these CEOs also may have the opportunity to open up new markets for these companies. Many of these companies may only be doing business within their specific country or on the African continent. And what they're looking for these corporate board folks, in addition to kind of good governance, is, will you be able to introduce me to people in the United States that can help put my product or my service in the United States or in other global markets?
Yes. This is phenomenal conversation. We got a question out there. Does this apply to national boards that they get compensated, or how do you approach these boards, and how do you get efforts to get on nonprofit boards as well? Well, today we're not going to talk about nonprofit boards. We're going to talk about for-profit boards at this moment. And are there particular skills that they're looking for? Yes, he just addressed that. Accounting, media, that kind of thing. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Because we're running out of time, we've got to have you back, Henri. It's more than a 30-minute conversation. Obviously, you and I have had more.
It's more than a 2-hour conversation, because this is like twofold, because you're not just bringing all the information about B-Direct. Yeah. You're bringing up all this information that I just had no idea about.
Yeah. And neither do our viewers, as many of them. And so that's what we do here on the Empowering You Show. We bring you information from people who are the authorities, who you've probably never heard of, yet you've never heard of the ideas and concepts that they bring to the table. That's what B-Direct is. I'm super excited. I am really, really excited because I have experienced the continent of Africa many times, and do really understand that I'm a Western thinker, yet I do now understand how to operate, move, and work through companies in the African continent. So there is an ongoing conversation. I'm not going to tell you what, but there's an ongoing conversation with B-Direct and BHS and Associates that I'm super excited about. When it unfolds, I am really excited. Tell them more about the collaboration that may be possible for us.
Yeah, so we have been in conversation with Barbara regarding helping us with our cultural dexterity component. A piece of what we do, as I said before, is we help people understand regarding the fact that it's important to know that culturally we are different.
Yes.
Even though we may have the same amount of melanin in our skin, culturally we are different. And we are in conversations with BHS and Associates to help us with some of those cultural dexterity training pieces of our puzzle.
And I'm super excited about that. Tell us how we can reach out to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So feel free to send an email to info@globalboarddirector.com. I think it's scrolling at the bottom of your screen. info@globalboarddirector.com. Please also feel free to go to our website at www.globalboarddirector.com, all one word. There you will see a 5-minute video about B-Direct, and also will give you much more detail about us and what value that we bring to the table.
Where's the name come from? Where's B-Direct come from?
Great question. So 2 different answers. One, B-Direct stands for Board Director. But what we also like to say is, in a colloquial way, is that we would like people to be direct.
Right.
So
Right.
be direct with us, and we will be direct with you.
That is a
I love it.
phenomenal.
Love it.
That is a phenomenal name. I am again excited to meet Larry Yan. I have already met Henri's brother Andre, and we hit it off and had a phenomenal conversation. And the whole time I'm talking to Andre, I'm thinking to myself, he's got to be a pastor. He done dropped so many spiritual nuggets without dropping them, directly. He done dropped so many. So we get to the end of the conversation, and we're in an hour in when we're supposed to have a 15-minute conversation. And he goes, "Oh my God, they're pinging me for another meeting I'm supposed to be. But really, really quick, I'm the pastor of." I said, "Stop right there, stop." I knew it. Try the spirit by the spirit all day long. I knew it. But anyway, we have had a wonderful time with you, Henri. Do you have one last nugget or tidbit you want to leave with our audience before we get out of here? What would you say to them?
I would love as many people as possible to be able to experience being on corporate boards. It is something that it is different from the nonprofit experience. You can certainly bring your nonprofit experience to it, but it is very different. And I will also tell you, if you sit on a corporate board of a Fortune 500 company, your annual compensation just for the corporate board work starts at probably $150,000 to $200,000 salary plus equity. Now imagine multiplying that times people that are sitting on 3 or 4 boards at the same time.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm starting this calculation. You said the cohort starts in June? Did I hear that right? Starts in June?
Ouch, you made me hurt my side.
We do start in June.
We are again so grateful to have you on the platform today. Hang on for a couple minutes after the tape ends. We want to talk to you just for 1 or 2 seconds before you bounce out, if you have time.
Absolutely. Thank all your viewers so much. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to more tables and more seats.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
More pie.
This has been our show today. If you've caught it on live, we are excited for you to have this information. If you did not catch it on live, press the replay. Subscribe to the channel so you know when we have these phenomenal guests. It is a pleasure.
Share.
That's right. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, Shani, for all you do. I adore you. You know what time it is. It's time for you to step into your greatness, because the world is truly waiting for you. That's our show. We'll see you next week.
Okay, it's time to be direct. I'll see y'all next week.
You are so funny.